8:56 it's coming up to. They were Britain's secret resistance network of highly trained volunteers during the Second World War, but many of us may not have even heard of the Auxiliaries.
As we remember this week the lives that have been lost in conflict, one veteran aims to raise awareness of the little-known military unit. Robert Hall is in Oxfordshire this morning. Robert, it's a real adventure story, this one. And I mean, part of the reason you're hiding there is because so much of this unit was all about the secrecy.
It was. In fact, it's probably one of Britain's biggest wartime secrets. It was a secret that the people involved in it kept long after the Second World War ended. It's a story about men and women, a lot of them just civilians, villagers, local people who volunteered to lose their lives. You'll hear what I mean in a minute, fighting on their home soil. Now, they operated from hidden bases, and believe it or not, I am sitting on one of them. It's just here. Now, in a minute, we're going to go down there to see the base and hear about the people who operated here. But first of all, here's a little more about the Auxiliaries and why people think they should be remembered. 1940. The British government is left in no doubt that invasion is looming. Desperate times breed desperate measures. The Home Guard is already in place. But now Winston Churchill orders a new secret army to be formed.
We had about 3/4 of a ton of explosives and equipment. They would almost certainly only live for probably a fortnight or 3 weeks once there was an invasion. But in that time they would try to do as much damage as possible.
And if they were to survive at all, the men and women of the Auxiliaries would have to go underground.
They were looking for sites that were on high ground.
Most of the secret bunkers disappeared long ago, but researcher Will Ward took me to one of the last intact resistance headquarters.
So inside
a signals base, never filmed before, and in a most unlikely location.
Just an empty bucket.
Yep. And then if we come out here, open this hatch, then what we have is a lever that we twist to unlock the secret door.
So what do? We'll just lift it up?
Yeah, just lift it straight up.
Okay, I'm lifting. Oh, look at that. It seems really peculiar to think of people using this entrance, rehearsing for the unthinkable.
We've got a network here of all the signal stations in the southwest of Britain, which shows how each station would link back to a central point. This was all done in complete secrecy. There might be German troops going past the road outside, and you'll be able to transmit from in here without anybody being aware of it.
Another hidden lock, and a secret within a secret.
This is where the radio set would have been kept. It would have been hidden in here just in case the Germans would have found those outer areas of the underground hideout. In this particular case, we've got an area where you can drop a tennis ball down outside on what used to be the hedge line, and actually the message would then drop down inside of here, so it could be delivered without the two people ever making contact face to face.
The Home Guard would have been taken prisoner, but the Auxiliaries would have been shot. Although they were never put to the test, the Auxiliaries do deserve to be remembered.
Now we're about 2 metres under the ground here. It's pretty humid. You can see it on the steel above us. So if things steam up a little, we apologise in advance. Tom Sykes from the British Resistance Archive. First of all, what would have happened here? Who would have worked out of this?
Well, when the church bell started ringing and we were being invaded, our team of auxiliaries, around 8 men, would have gone to ground. Each one of the 650 patrols around the country would have had a bunker very much like this. We're about 2 metres underground. And in here, they would have done everything. They would have slept. There would have been enough bunks here for the men. They would have primed their weapons. They would have cooked. They would have gone to the toilet. Everything that they needed would have been prepared in these bunkers.
Now, these guys never saw service, but they should be remembered, and that's really the message that you've got, isn't it? That they have been forgotten.
Most definitely. I mean, not many, but not all auxiliaries were given a very small lapel badge, which we've got here, and a thank you letter,
Can we see
effectively.
that? Yeah, hold that.
Here's the lapel badge.
And what about that letter?
And this is the letter from the General Commander at the time, and it ends with, "It will not be forgotten." Unfortunately, they have largely been forgotten. Because they signed the Official Secrets Act, they didn't talk about what they've done. These are farmers, landowners, very humble men, and so we believe they should be recognised.
People can come to your website, and also you'd like anybody who, perhaps people you don't know about, family
Definitely.
members, to come and see you, wouldn't you?
Yeah, our website is staybehinds.com, and they can search there, and all the information's on there.
Tom, thank you very much indeed. And Tom will be marching with Peter Potter, who you saw in that report at the Cenotaph on Sunday, and the campaign here to keep the auxiliaries alive in people's memories is very much alive itself. Back to you.
Robert, yes, fascinated with the space you're in there. Can you just explain one thing to me? The doorway you came through, there appears to be a sort of shaft of light at the end of it, a tunnel there. Is
That's
that
right,
natural?
that's the escape shaft. They had a way of getting out. If the Germans had been at one end, they could scramble out. There's actually a hidden hatch in a wall just at the other end of that. Every one of these was roughly the same pattern, Charlie.
Robert, sorry, Naga here. Does it feel quite claustrophobic in there?
No, it doesn't actually. It's several small rooms. So there's a room to my right where the entrance is. There's a big room that we're sitting in. There's another little room beyond. I think if you were here for a long time, it would feel claustrophobic, but they're in and out of this. These patrols didn't stay in here long. The whole point was that they were conducting acts of sabotage against the Germans. So this was a base. But, you know, you can't stress hard enough that there was only a 2-week life expectancy. The Germans had search dogs. They would have found these places, and these people would have been shot.
Robert, it's been fascinating. Thank you so much. Robert Hall there in Oxfordshire for us.
We'll go back to one of our main stories.